Namaste, friends. I am Pooja Mishra. I embarked on my Jyotish journey in the year 2017 by chance when very good friends of mine introduced me to my Jyotish guru Penny Farrow, who was at the time teaching at the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam in Saylorsburg, Pennsylvania. My Jyotish guru Penny Farrow, who is a non Hindu by birth, actually introduced me to the deep, vast, and profound knowledge in ancient Hindu scriptures. During this time, I again had the good fortune of meeting my Vedanta guru, Sri Ashwatji. His mastery in both Sanskrit and Vedanta has enriched me with the understanding of various scriptures and the correct way to chant mantras. My growing passion for Jyotish has led me to create video series focused on teaching Jyotish. The first of these series is about the 27 Nakshatras. I will go at a slow pace, covering all aspects of one or two Nakshatras each month. Let me give a quick introduction to Nakshatras, beginning with a deep gratitude to the three custodians of Jyotish according to the Hindu tradition. Picture yourself in a dark night gazing at the glittering stars away from the man made dazzle of cities. This is what our ancestors did for years and centuries as they built a deep connection with the movements of the shining celestial objects in the sky, and through these enormous observations came together the science of astronomy and astrology, the Jyotish as we know today. The foundation of Jyotish is the study of the natural sky or Gola and the calculations or Ganita of the patterns made by moving entities such as the sun, moon, and other planets against the fixed backdrop of stars called nakshatras. Let me begin with an enchanting folklore from ancient India. Here goes the story. The moon marries the 27 daughters of King Daksha. Each day, the moon would visit one of his wives. However, Daksha got the word that moon favors one of his wife, Rohini. He got furious and cursed the moon that it would wane away. Moon then went on to plead with Shiva, who modified the curse, and the moon was condemned to a life of waxing and waning. Before you dismiss this story as a silly myth, let me explain its connection with the astronomical realities. Our ancestors observed that each night the moon rises in the sky at a different time against a different backdrop of stars, and that it takes exactly 27 days for the moon to come back to the same place in the sky. And so they divided the ecliptic, the 360-degree path of the moon, into 27 equal sections, each containing a star group. In order to be able to identify each of these 27 sections of the sky, they identified the brightest star in each of these sections and named it after the 27 wives of the moon, and hence were born the 27 nakshatras. This is how we learn that this folklore is actually a powerful mnemonic that the ancients built in order to recognize the passage of time in the form of a lunar calendar that is followed to date by Hindus for tracking their festivals. If we look at the etymology or the hidden meaning of the word nakshatra, na plus ksharati iti nakshatraha, which is to say the one that does not move or is fixed. Another way to break down the word nakshatra would be nakt plus kshatra, which means the rulers of the night or the lunar mansions. And finally, if we break it down another way, it would break apart as naksha plus tara. So, naksha means map and tara means star, which actually shows you the path. As such, the reference to nakshatras appears even in the most ancient of the four Vedas, the Rig Veda. They are referred to collectively in many verses, but only a few are specifically mentioned by name. A complete reference of all nakshatras makes an appearance for the first time in the Nakshatra Suktam, which is part of the Taittiriya Brahmana of Krishna Yajurveda. The Nakshatra Suktam is a key text as it calls upon each of the nakshatra deities to the sacred sacrificial fire to receive offerings. The ancient roll call began with Agni, the fire deity. For how can there be the sacrificial fire without Agni? And hence, the nakshatra sequence begins with Kritika, whose deity is Agni, and ends with Bharani, whose deity is Yama. Also, note that all the principal Vedic deities, such as Brahma, Soma, Rudra, and Aditi, make an appearance in the beginning of this Nakshatra Suktam in the same order. However, when the Rashi system melded with the ancient Nakshatra Mandala, that's when the focus shifted to 0 degrees Aries or Mesh Rashi, and the sequence of nakshatras began from Ashwini instead of Kritika. Nakshatra Vichara or analysis starts with direct perception of the sky. What stars can be seen with the naked eye naturally? Do they jump out at you with their glitter? Do they dominate the area? Do they have a characteristic color? From this immediate impression, one can build a pratima, a symbol of the nakshatras. It can be literal or metaphoric. For example, pratima of Kritika nakshatra is a sharp razor which comes directly from the shape of this close knit constellation in the sky. On the other hand, the pratima of the star of Chitra nakshatra is said to be a jewel. And indeed, the star is incredibly bright, sparkly, and captures the attention. Then comes the direct linkage of a nakshatra to the Vedic deities, which opens up a world of possibilities from the etymological significance of the Sanskrit name itself, which is the Nirukta, to the myriad of verses and stories associated with those deities. Let me conclude by sharing with you the book references that I have used for this Nakshatra series. Thank you.